This is Robert from Twin Peaks, and you're listening to Inspirado, Projecto. Got a light?
Coming to you live.
Why, hello there, Mr. Valentine. I sent out the invite to Elizabeth as well, so I'm sure she'll hop on here soon.
Okay, great, wonderful.
How long did it take for it to pop up, for the invite to pop up in your email?
Not long at all. I just went, I said, I was gonna grab some fruit, because we've been speaking, and I said I'm gonna grab, because I have like these. You won't believe it in Costco. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's called plum apricot. It's unbelievable, brother. It's a plum. And it's golden. It's yellow golden, and it's apricot. I've never, and they hardly have that fruit. But I decided, well, it's a little cold right now, so I'm going to grab the Bing cherries. And I said, let me have a couple of cherries, because if I drink water, I'll have to keep getting up for the next couple of hours while we're speaking.
It's so funny you mentioned watermelons, and I just realized that I've got my sister recently went to a picnic, and she's got this bowl full of watermelons and grapes and strawberries in here, and I'm gonna you inspired me. I'm gonna go ahead and have some of these while we're talking. This is just so good. The watermelons, and of course these watermelons appeared after we talked about them. Wow, it's like we weakened them into existence. This is great. It's like a cereal. This is like a cereal, or like a stew of sorts. It's really good. All these fruits in here, man. This is holy cow.
So is it watermelon, a bunch of fruit, or just watermelon?
Yeah, watermelon, strawberry, grapes.
Yeah, there you go. And that's the best hydration, brother, is fruit. And the people on the planet, water is the second. I hate to tell you, water is the best. They'll tell you aqua, but really the fruit, because that's why we need our environment clean, is the best for our DNA. Is coconut water is in our DNA. Coconut water is the best to hydrate. It's like the blood in our veins. I don't know if you know that.
No, I never knew that.
Oh yeah, I did a video with Ron on it, out of Florida, and he was taken back. He was aware of it because he does the coconut, but it's in our DNA, brother. I mean, the trees, that coconut juice, that water that's from the nature from the tree is in our bloodstream, in our DNA. We need that kind of hydration in our body.
Wow, incredible!
Yeah.
Isn't it so interesting that my sister and I were talking about this, because she's vegan, and I'm mostly vegan because I live with her. I'll eat eggs once in a while, but I'm mostly eating vegan stuff, and it's so interesting through the years how something that is just organic and natural seems to be higher priced. Something that is just like a natural thing is higher priced than something that is totally processed and might have strange chemicals on it and all that. And it's just a bizarre thing when you think about that. Something that is natural and healthy and the way it ought to be, that there's an extra price tag to that. It's such a weird thing. Now, I'm getting this image out there in Maui. Do you got just like fruit trees hanging around you? Do you just eat right off the fat of the land?
We did, but they get diseased here.
Oh,
and people will grab them. We do have them, yes, in the island, but they will get diseased if they're not cared for. And it used to be plentiful here with the coconuts. You have to find them now, or ask people that have trees, whatever, or you have to buy them. Before we were able to get them, we would buy them, but not like now. I mean, we're talking. I've been in the island close to 30 years, where it's so plentiful that wherever I lived on a property or land, we would share it and give to people, Yeah. But now you could buy 100 coconuts at $3 a piece or something for $300, or $50 for 20 coconuts or something, 25.
Now, is it difficult to grow a coconut tree? I mean, how long would that take if you were to actually just grow your own coconut tree on your property there?
Years. Mm-hmm. Years. Mm-hmm.
So it's first got to become a tree before the coconuts arrive, or can the coconuts start, sprouting as it's in sort of a, I guess I'm visualizing sort of like a bush form, or.
Yeah, you got to let the tree grow first, and then it'll start sprouting.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, the hotels, brother, they actually buy the trees from people on their properties. They dig up the tree because they can't wait those years for those particular trees that they want at the hotel, or the coconut, the palm trees. They'll actually have excavations go out there and dig the tree up from their property and bring it down to the hotels. Can you believe
Whoa.
it? Yeah.
Wow.
Because they want it now. They can't wait years.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, that is something. And I heard that, palm trees out in California, I heard that palm trees were actually, migrated over here from Hawaii. This is not a natural occurrence for palm trees to grow out here in California. Is that true?
That's Elizabeth connecting in now. Wait.
Oh, hi, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
Hi. I realized
you
I
are.
should have loaded a photo.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad that you carved some time out of your day to be on here and talk about stuff. And I was talking to Valentine earlier, just about various, the importance of eating fruits and all the water that's contained in them, and coconuts, and just all that great
Coconut
stuff.
water.
Oh yeah, coconut water.
And the fruit, is that true, Elizabeth, that the fruit is the best hydration, even outside of water? It's best to have the hydration through the fruit.
Plants, food all together. I think greens too has a lot of water, lettuce, and
There you go.
yeah, watermelon. That's my favorite hydration right there.
I love it. Of course you're saying that. It's amazing because I just discovered that there's watermelon in my refrigerator. My sister went to a picnic yesterday, and I am actually right now at this very moment eating a little bowl of there's watermelon and some strawberries in here. So it's great that you're bringing up watermelon. And Valentine was telling me about that. He really likes watermelon. So this is a double zinger here that I got to eat a lot more watermelon, I think.
And I'm not sure what you guys have talked about as far as coconuts, but I think the most profound thing about coconuts is that when they started using coconut water for blood transfusions because it is an exact match.
Wow.
DNA.
That is
right on, Elizabeth.
incredible.
Well, I think it's more like the cellular makeup of it, like the structure, everything that it has. It's the same as blood. It's like a match.
Yep. DNA.
So,
right?
What
I was saying.
Yeah. You were just talking about that, Valentine, before she hopped on. So, okay, so this is interesting then. So, in those instances where, you hear people going, oh, well, the bloods are running, or the hospitals are running out of blood, or we need more people to donate blood. Well, it would make sense to me if coconut water companies would donate that, right?
Well, I think it probably would need to be pure, like fresh coconut.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But do you remember when they did that, Valentine?
Go ahead.
I think. Did they do it during Pearl Harbor or something like that?
I believe they did do it during Pearl Harbor, because of the amount of people that were. They said, that needed that blood transfusions and from the injuries and all. Yeah, the plasma. Yes.
What
the
heck? So I mean, that would have been a very brave and bold move to go, hey, you know what? We don't really have any blood here. Let's just go. What do you got over there, Frank? Oh, you got some coconut? Yeah. Let's just put that in the guy. I mean, someone had to have experimented with that to know that would have worked. Thank God it wasn't a guy who wasn't drinking a margarita or something. He was just drinking a coconut. And, let's just get that over here. Let's put that in the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then also, so you'll know, the coconut nut, and Elizabeth will probably tell you, it's like that is the along with the water, tell them a little bit about the nut, what that does, Elizabeth.
Well, coconut in general is like an antiviral, antibacterial, anti-parasitic.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar in the sense to like colloidal silver.
Yep.
It has so many healing properties besides being super hydrating and matching our blood molecules.
Yep, our DNA.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a pretty remarkable nut. We have to give it to the coconut.
Right. You got to eat the coconut in the middle too.
The coconut and the lime.
The coconut, yeah, lime in the coconut.
The lime and the coconut.
So interesting. So are you talking about as one might call it, the coconut meat? Or are you saying the
Yes.
actual, okay.
Yeah. The meat
my God.
in the middle.
I think the whole thing, the whole plant.
Yeah.
I'm into whole plants, whole foods, like all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the best things to do with raw coconut is to crack it and take the meat out and put it with the water in a blender and blend it up and then make it into ice cubes and then just add it to your smoothies.
Say.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah.
And then you try to use it for. We were talking yesterday about room temperature, about the stomach. I was bringing up about the stomach lining or our stomach. What degrees, to keep everything, the fire going, out of, what is our temperature that we need our body to go to digest the food and all. Do you know, Elizabeth?
Well, I mean, in relationship to water, it's best to drink water that's at room temperature, right?
There you go. Bingo.
Yeah. I don't know as far as digesting food per se, but
Okay. Just take a wild guess.
I mean, during quarantine, I've pretty much been a raw foodist again, which is great.
I know.
I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, I know. And I was.
And yeah.
Yeah. So so let me tell you, because Kurt and I talked about it yesterday. It's 100 degrees, our stomach lining, and doctors to this day don't have to look up in their almanacs and I watch them in the dictionary. When I ask them questions, they can't answer you. They go to the office and they go through their encyclopedia to find out information, and then they'll come out 20 minutes later into your appointment and tell you they don't know.
Oh my gosh.
They couldn't find it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like they're not. They went to a school that is owned by we'll just call it a system.
Yep.
That doesn't have our best interest at heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've made them believe XYZ, and all they're doing is regurgitating XYZ. And then I feel like they don't really understand what their oath means. And these days, these big companies
Corporations.
I don't even want to say what they are.
Yes.
Those types of companies are dictating what health is, and it's not congruent to humans anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And you being a raw foodist and all, you know the difference. And like Kurt doing the fruit, we're doing the fruit now. I said, well, if I drink water and we're in between the interview, we're in the podcast. Well, you're not gonna have a chance to get up, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, I should have drank that water." So I said, "I'm gonna get some cherries," and I have this particular fruit that I was talking about. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's called plum apricot, and Costco has them once in the blue moon. Maria said, "You got to try this," and I love it. It's a plum that's golden, and it's apricot.
Plumquat or something.
Yeah, like
Plumquat.
kumquat. Yeah.
So they somehow fused it together, huh? Like a Frankenstein kind of fruit. Wow.
I think those are called hybrids opposed to a GMO though.
It is.
The plum.
It is.
Yeah, it's like they splinted the trees together, and then I think that's how that came about. I don't think it was
Natural.
like a.
Wow.
Well, it was.
Well.
It wasn't genetically modified.
Okay.
So
But
that's
it was
interesting.
definitely somewhat planted together so that they would create something else.
Okay. Well,
So-
I'm glad
Yeah.
I grabbed the cherries while we were waiting for you to come online. While he was having the watermelon, I said, "Well, I got the Bing cherries, and I got like 2 cartons of them, like 2.5, 3 pounds each, 3 pounds each one.
Oh my gosh.
And I got so much fruit in here, I could have a fruit party."
Aw.
Mango. I got mangoes that I haven't opened up yet, and they're from the trees. They were, brought in from Maria. Got them and said, "You got to try these mangoes from her clients." When the clients bring it in, it's called the kind here in Hawaiian. It's like gold. It's like from the tree. It's like, oh boy, you're gonna have a nice mango now. That's not from the store. This is from
Right.
the mana of the island. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. Now,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you're saying that you just eat raw, what is, now, am I correct in saying, is a raw vegetable just one that's uncooked, right? Because they say that if you cook it, it cooks out the nutrients?
Yeah, it kills the food, kills what's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been eating a lot of salad and a lot of fruit and raw vegetables and sprouted nuts and some seeds. But I'm on the autoimmune protocol diet, so I can't eat nightshades or legumes or I don't know, a few other things. So I've been feeling a lot better.
Beautiful.
Through the whole process. I was raw foodist for 20 years in San Diego, so
See?
I do know the ropes, and
Okay.
I'm sitting here with some dragon fruit and an
Wow.
orange from the mana and some apple bananas and some papaya
Beautiful.
and a lilikoi.
And lilikoi. Oh yeah, Kurt.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Tell
The
me
dragon
what
fruit.
You know what dragon fruit is, Kurt?
No, and you just mentioned another fruit I'm not familiar with either. I've heard of dragon fruit, but you said something about malakoi or
Lilikoi.
Lilikoi.
Oh,
which
lilikoi.
is passion
Passion fruit.
Oh.
And tell them what it tastes like, and I'll tell you what it is just heavenly to me.
Yeah, it depends. There's all different types of flavors.
Yeah.
From Jamaican lilikoi are my favorite.
Same
'cause
here.
They're very sweet,
Yeah.
but some can be quite tart.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like big chia seeds that are gelatinous that have either a sweet to tart flavor, and they're super good. It's known as the fruit of enlightenment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow. Okay, so it's kind of like, I'm getting the image of like a gummy bear, but just nature's gummy bear, kind of.
Well, it's like a round yellow to orange ball,
Mhm.
and they're anywhere from maybe an inch and a half up to 3-4 inches
Yeah.
in diameter.
Yeah.
And they kind of got like a foamy lining around them,
Mhm.
and then inside
Yes.
it's like a custard kind of thing, with these balls of seeds
Yeah.
that have flavor.
And it's so juicy, like the juice, like it's like you're in bliss.
Now,
Yeah.
are these things easy to grow? Are these, because I can only imagine how great that would be to have a little garden with these kinds of fruits that you're mentioning here.
Yeah. They're on a vine, Kurt, right?
Oh.
They grow
Yeah,
on a vine.
it's a tropical vine.
Tropical
So
vine.
if you're in I'm sure in LA, the lilikoi could grow for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Lilikoi. I gotta keep.
Lilikoi.
I'm writing that down. This is
or passion fruit is the other name.
Passion fruit.
fruit.
Yeah. Passion fruit. And then the dragon one that she's talking about, tell them that it's purple and tell them what that tastes like also. Elizabeth.
Well, it's similar to the chia seed consistency again, right? Because it's got little seeds in it.
Yeah.
And it's really super
Antioxidant.
hydrating. It's
Yes.
so hydrating,
Yeah.
and it kind of affects your the exit color of your food.
Yeah, it's purple. Purple.
Oh my gosh.
Purple passion.
Some of it is white. You can get a white dragon fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's like the most beautiful, vibrant pink
Yeah.
color.
Pink
Like
purple.
it's mind blowing, and the outside of the fruit looks like little, like a dragon scales.
Yeah.
That are pointy.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask why they call it dragon fruit. Okay, so there's the answer. I didn't even get it. That's great. You knew what I was gonna ask. Yeah, because I was gonna say, what the heck? Why is it dragon fruit? So it has like what looks like scales on the outside.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what I'm getting is Elizabeth. You send when the time's right, send some pictures, and you'll really see what it looks like. Or you look it up,
I mean,
right?
Kurt,
Yeah,
Kurt,
might as well.
if you just Google an image of dragon fruit,
Yeah.
you can see it right now in real time.
Yeah, I might as well. So with your raw food diet, you're saying, because you mentioned something before, you an autoimmune sort of health regime that you're on.
Well, I'm on the diet, yeah, and it really like stops the cytokine storm, which is really causes a lot of chronic health issues.
What is that? What is that you just mentioned?
It is an autoimmune response to usually food, and it creates a lot of chronic health issues in your body. So it provides the perfect storm for that. And when you eliminate those foods out of the body's able to heal and get rid of that storm and slow down all the symptoms and get healthier and healthier and stronger. So I've been on that for about 15 months now, and I'm feeling a lot better.
Beautiful.
Wow. And what are some of the effects that you're noticing from eating it?
I'm feeling less mucusy, stronger, more integrated, more grounded, a little bit more level-headed. It's interesting, the whole process.
It's very interesting because during the harmonic convergence, which is where I met Valentine, there was a Lakota. It was great because there was just lots of just wonderful information that was going through there from all kinds of different perspectives. And there was what was it? The reservation. The reservation that
Lakota.
Finally, they said, okay, stop. You guys are not going to put your pipes down here and stuff. So this woman was saying that they're like, we know that those berries that are out there can help us out. That's what we take. We don't need the prescription medicines. Our cultures have known about this forever, but it only grows for a certain, some of them only for a certain amount of weeks or a certain amount of months. And she was saying that the government or whoever was involved was not allowing her and her people to go out into the fields to get, the healthy fruits and berries and whatnot that they knew could help them during this time of COVID. And so it's really interesting when you hear about this kind of wisdom and, now talking with you, Elizabeth, about how you're taking you're eating this specific diet, and here you are, you're explaining exactly all the benefits of it and how it's helping you out. Are you noticing it's giving you more energy? Are you sleeping better? Are you, what are some of the other side effects?
I just feel like I'm healing. My body's finally able to take a breath, and I'm not so, it's just feeling less than what I've had to deal with. And that isn't a good direction for me. I've been chronically ill my whole life, but I've been disabled since '95. So I've had quite a journey with my health. I've had a beautiful, beautiful, amazing, miraculous, super mystical, magical, divinely guided life. But I have had major challenges with my health, and I feel very surrendered to it, and that it has guided me into who I am and showed me and woken up all my gifts, and I'm grateful.
Beautiful.
So I feel blessed by it.
Beautiful.
I wanted to share too about that. One of my first teachers was the real life Don Juan from the Carlos Castaneda book.
Wow! What? Oh my gosh! That was a real guy. Oh my God!
That was a real guy,
This is
and he was a Yaqui shaman down in Mexico. And my roommate at the time was driving him around. He was kind of his right-hand man, and I was not well, and And he said, you know, you need to come and ask this guy what's going on with you. Now, I had never read any of those books. I didn't really know who this guy was. And I sat down in circle with him, and the first thing he did was lead a meditation. And when we closed our eyes and he started guiding us, he literally showed up inside my third eye. He took my hands and he put them up above our heads, and we flew straight up in the air like an eagle. And that was the beginning.
Oh,
I was like,
wow. Wow.
So what happened then? What happened then? What did you discover through this journey?
Beautiful.
well, a lot of things. I
Wow.
discovered who I am as a shaman. That's for sure. He definitely woke me up to that immediately. And then I've been a shaman in 158 lifetimes. And I'm definitely one in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many mystical experiences during that time. It was like probably 96, 97, 98. And I was in San Diego. He is on the Kumai Indian Reservation outside of Tecate in Mexico. So it was like a 40-minute drive from Ocean Beach, where I was in San Diego. And we would go down there on the full moon, and we'd go down, and he would come up and do meditation classes, enlightenment classes. We would do herb walks. I thought one of the coolest things about him was that he would talk to the plants, and the plants would tell him what they were good for.
Oh, I love it. Oh, God, this is so exciting. Oh,
I'm like, I want to do that.
Oh, incredible.
So, oh my God, he was amazing. Like, and he got that nickname because he was on his 9th wife, and he had 67 sons.
Whoa.
He did not count his daughters. So he had much more children than that. And it was very traditional. And there were a lot of Lakota Indians around there at that time. So I definitely met a lot of that tribe. And the people gathered from all over the world there. And he was just, I learned a lot about the spirit world. Yeah. He told me I was the window between life and death. It was like I had a foot in both worlds at all times. I'm fully, right before I met him, I was awakened by Christ. And 7 years after I was awakened by Christ, I was activated my Sacred Heart. So I'm a divine channel for the Sacred Heart of Christ. And that's how I facilitate healing and helping humanity in this time. I'm a distance healer. I trained with David Morehouse, who wrote the CIA Stargate program book around remote viewing, and I studied with the Real Life Grasshopper from the Kung Fu series back in the 70s.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I became one of his top practitioners in the world, and he gifted me San Diego. So I had a lot of events. I started studying with him in 2002, and I had events probably through 2005, 6, and super amazing work. Very based in kinesiology. I've been doing kinesiology for 30 years. And that's kind of my bread and butter to my whole thing. The Sacred Heart, I believe, got activated because when Christ awakened me, my health was pretty tragic in some of the things that happened for me. And I was able to stay pure. And because of that, it's like when you see an image of the Sacred Heart of Christ, you see 7 swords going through Jesus and Mary's hearts. And I think I have 9 swords, but my heart remained pure. So somehow that activated it.
Beautiful.
And it's in alignment with the kinesiology or the dowsing or muscle testing. That's what the priests use to commune with the enlightened mind.
Beautiful.
So it just made me faster at what I did. And I'm excited. I'm building my email list right now to publish a book called Your Power of Knowing, to teach everyone about kinesiology and how to get accurate and work out all the kinks and how to apply it to their everyday life, and then how to apply it to their intuition. And then in the end, how to kind of drop into the Sacred Heart and meditate in there and ask questions. And when you get an answer, then you have a tool to test how accurate or how truthful was this. And then it builds that intuitive muscle and that self-trust so that you're guided by Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did your communion with the original Don Juan, which I just got to say, my buddy had told me about that, about separate reality long time ago, and I read the book, and it just sounded like science fiction. This is before, things really started to make sense to me. And I was just like, whoa, is this fact? Is this fiction? What's going on here? So, my mind was just, I couldn't wrap my head around that. And now it's so interesting because over the past week I've been thinking, I just got a vibe that I got to reread A Separate Reality. And now all of a sudden, of course, here you are talking about the fact that you met that guy that they're talking about. So during that time, did you feel that moment when you were out there and he took your hands in your third eye and off you go into the universe? Do you feel that was the sort of first domino that kind of started your spiritual journey, or did you feel connected up until that point as well?
Well, I grew up in an interesting household where my mom was a lawyer, and she was a Reformed Catholic, atheist, evolution and behaviorist, and she would argue there was no God. So very interesting dichotomy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I grew up in the third dimension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I, back in the day when Jerry Garcia was alive, used to follow the Grateful Dead around, and that led to me following my bliss, being grateful, and asking for miracles, which kind of activated some of my intuitive and psychic and prophetic gifts.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. And then I had a spiritual awakening after Jerry died on my way up to San Francisco from San Diego. And through that spiritual awakening, I realized that there was a lot more to life than the third dimension.
Wow.
And I went from nothing to everything all at once. And it was Christ awakening me and guiding me. And I felt connected ever since. And then I met Don Juan probably like the first year I was in that state. And because it just matched the frequency, right? And he came, that part of my journey has been, I was bedridden for about 7 years in San Diego. Wow. And I was asleep 22 hours a day. Yeah. So it was barely like no quality of life. And when I was awake, all I would do was pray because I was already awakened. I'm like, God, why did you do this? I'm awake.
Yeah.
And I think into my journey, I was raised in the third dimension. So I went to all the Western doctors, the pain clinics, every specialist. I tried everything and nothing helped, and everything made me worse. So I soon realized they were not able to help me. And so I said to God, I'm like, can you just send me people that could actually help me? And they're going to have to be for free because I've exhausted all of my resources. And that week I got 5 healers.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
And I was then, by the next week, seeing 2 healers a day for years. And then I just kept praying on a deeper and deeper level. I need more. And I ended up attracting like all these top healers in the world. And I did not go out and seek them. I just prayed for help. And this is who was brought to my door, usually through a friend would bring them. So it was very miraculous and mystical and magical and very super high vibes. Beautiful. And I was so grateful for help and inspiration and spirituality and mysticism and all of that. I felt Don Juan, he was not a fan of Carlos Castaneda.
Oh, really? Why? Why not?
Well, he spoke Spanish and I spoke English. So
Oh, gotcha.
But the translator said it was because he wasn't honest.
Wow. Oh, Castaneda wasn't honest?
Correct.
Oh, so did Don Juan feel that Castaneda had maybe embellished some things or took things out of context, maybe?
Yeah, maybe didn't understand clearly what he was writing about or something. That it was not, in alignment with his teaching.
So it's quite interesting that it's because of, I don't want to say it's because of Carlos Castaneda that people are brought to Don Juan, because obviously you were brought to Don Juan without even knowing who the heck the guy was. However, having said that, it is interesting that people like myself, or who knows how many other millions of people out there who have read Separate Reality or any of the books about Don Juan, they know about that guy because of Carlos Castaneda. So it is quite an interesting dichotomy there, where
yeah, he definitely made him the most famous shaman of all time, right?
Wow. And probably caused so many people to just really start questioning, their connection to the all that is, and how the heck do I get it? How do I do that? Where do I find a shaman?
Well, I think all those are good ideas.
Oh yeah,
but yeah. I mean, who knows what? I didn't read the book, so I can't tell you what was reality and what wasn't. But I'm sure the truth is kind of woven in there anyway. I mean, usually that's how it works. But I wouldn't discount what he was teaching you and what you got out of the book. If it inspired you, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. That was Don Juan's perspective, and I don't know why, because I couldn't really talk to him on that level.
So when you were out there, in addition to seeing him in your third eye and traveling the galaxy, first of all, I got to ask you, how long were you out there communing with he and his tribe? And then second of all, is what are some more of these really interesting, maybe synchronicities or mystical experiences while you were in his presence, while these things were happening?
There were a lot of mystical experiences. I feel like almost every encounter, there was something magical, mystical, and spiritual happening. For sure. And I was going through quite a back then I felt like the planet was so high vibrational. I feel like technology and all these devices have made us more dense and the frequency lower on some level. But back then, my girlfriend, her name was Saray. She was Geronimo's great-great-granddaughter in this lifetime.
Whoa.
And I was at death's door, really. I had shingles and cancer, and it was one of the chronic illness symptoms to my whole situation. And I don't think anybody thought I was going to live, honestly. But Saray would come over to my house every day, and she was an energy worker and a massage therapist, and I didn't really understand what that was. But I just gotten done, I think, reading the 10th Insight or the 11th Insight, the one about healing from James Redfield.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and I was having these spiritual experiences that I was like, oh my God, I have no idea what's happening, and I couldn't explain it. It was happening between Saray and I, my friend David Starr, and this boyfriend, Tim. So it was happening like we couldn't make it happen on purpose, but it was happening because I think the frequency was so high that it just couldn't not happen. And I asked Don Juan about it at some point, and he said, very, very good thing. Very, 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 very good thing. I'm like, but what is it? What is happening?
Very, very good thing.
Please tell me what's going on. Because whenever it was happening, I was like, oh my God, let's just burn sage. Let's do a blessing. Let's purify. So we'd fill the whole room up with sage smoke and just pray because we didn't know what was going on. And because you have to realize when I went through my awakening, I had no dogma attached to my spirituality. So it was so pure in everything that I experienced. I think that was the blessing that my mother gave me. And I ended up asking, after Don Juan, I studied with John Davison, who was in Sharkey Liu's lineage of Kung Fu, and him and another person co-founded the San Diego Taoist Sanctuary. And I studied with him for a year privately, and I asked him about my experience with Saray and David and Tim, and he said, "Oh yeah, we teach that in upper levels of Kung Fu."
Oh, awesome.
Oh. And he's like, "It is called piercing through reality."
Oh,
like,
my
God, there's a
God.
name.
Wow. Wow.
This was so awesome. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. So he showed me how to do it and how to do it in the mirror to myself. And
Wow.
it is, you basically are, what was happening was Saray and I would just be talking, and all of a sudden she would just burst into particles, was what I called it. So before I had a name for it, I would call it particles.
Wow.
And I would do the same thing. It wasn't like it was a one-sided experience. It was happening at the same time. And there was a Maori psychic that was hanging out with Don Juan, and I asked her about it. And I said, this was the other weird part. I'm like, well, we burst into particles, and then we are holding our heads in our hands, and there's a cover over the face, and I'm like, what is going on?
Wow. Wow.
And we weren't on anything to influence us. It was just a very spiritual spontaneity kind of thing.
Yeah, natural.
I couldn't really make it happen on purpose. It was just a vibe.
Yep.
It was some sort of frequency that was so pure and so clean that this was happening. And so the Maori psychic says, "Oh, those are not blocks. Those are doorways. Just walk through them." So the next time Saray came over and it happened, I said, "Oh, that's a doorway. Let's walk through it." So I saw her as a little child, and she saw the ancient one in my body. And at that time, I looked like I was 150 years old, even though I was just 30. I look 100 years younger than I did when I was 30.
Whoa.
Now, but
Wow.
so I was like, wow. And it was like, okay. And then we went to lunch, and we're sitting there at lunch, and she goes, "Oh my God, there's dark green radiating off the right side of your body." And that's where the shingles was. That's where I had 3 tumors sticking out under my arm.
Jeez.
And I said, "Well, it's a doorway. Walk through it." And she did. And it was a dark spirit that Don Juan had warned me about, and I didn't believe him. But when Saray was telling me, I was like, "Oh my God, I think I'm believing it." Because I left our first meeting, even though he had really just blown my mind. I think the second time I met him, my friend convinced me I should stand in front of him and ask him what was wrong with me. So I did that, and he told me I was possessed. And I left thinking, I'm not possessed. I'm not acting differently. My head's not spinning. I'm not throwing up.
Right.
There's no way. I'm me. I know I'm me. And sure enough, a month later, this happens with Saray, and I'm like, okay. So we ended up getting it out of my body, and that was my first instant healing.
Incredible. So I just got to stop you there for a second. So when your friend, when you said to her, walk through the doorway, was this a visual? Did she close her eyes? Did she? Please explain to me. Take me through what that is like to walk through the doorway.
Well, first she went into the energy, and she must have seen it through her third eye, or felt it, or sensed it, or whatever it was. But when she first came out of it, she was scared. And she took a deep breath, and she went right back into her fear. And she came out, and she said, "He just wants to be loved."
Oh, that's so, wow, look at that. Oh, man. Wow.
I know. I think the most interesting thing about Saray at this point is, now that my gifts are fully in, I realized now it was Geronimo. coming to my house
Oh.
every day to heal me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Incredible.
I know.
Incredible. So holy moly. So when she walked through the doorway, she saw the demon. What did she tell you that she kind of, message that she gave it? Was she kind of like, okay, you can go now, I love you, we all love you, can you kind of leave her alone now? I mean, what?
Well, I told you I was reading that book, right, about James Renfield's healing prophecy.
Right, Celestine prophecies, right?
Right. And so when we realized what was going on, we went back. That was at lunch, realized. We were in public at lunch when all this was happening.
Man. Wow.
So we go back to my house, and I call my friend Brian Hornbeck, and he was my old roommate, and he was driving Don Juan all over the place. At that time, I thought he was going to write a herb book for Don Juan and get it published. But I don't know if that ever happened. But anyway, I said, it's an emergency. Get your butt over here right now. And I didn't tell him what was going on, but he brought 3 huge crystals of rose quartz, which grew naturally on Don Juan's Indian reservation. And he put one in each of our hands. And we basically we sat Indian style, and I was in the front, and Saray was in the middle, and Brian was in the back, and we talked the spirit out of me and into the light. And it took us 3 hours. Wow. And I could feel it going in and out of me, because the pain would be in my body, and then it would leave, and it went around and around like that. And wow. I finally felt it trust the light and release.
Incredible.
This is a book and a movie in the future. Yeah. And what happened was Brian said, well, I want you to go down to the ocean. I live like a block from the ocean. And Saray and I walked down there, and we took the rose quartz. He's like, I want you to throw it into the ocean and do a prayer and tell Mother Earth what happened. And, basically ask for her cleansing it. And so we did all of that. And then we sat back on the rock, and Don Juan told me I was the bridge between life and death. Wow. And all of a sudden, there was a light that appeared in the horizon. It was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. There was a light that came. It wasn't a ship. It was just a light in the horizon. And then we saw all these white lines going from the city, from behind us, to that bright light. And we felt all these souls passing. Wow. Yeah, passing from the darkness into the light, going, wow, if he went, we can go. We didn't do anything compared to that.
Oh my.
And there was just a whole influx of darkness into the light. Yeah. Now, Brian had left to go down to Mexico to meet with Don Juan and spend the night on the reservation. And Don Juan got phone calls from all the tribal leaders around the world going, what on earth is going on in San Diego?
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
They claimed that we opened up like the 4th dimension on Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Because we flushed so much of the darkness into the light.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like we raised. And that was me and Geronimo and Brian Hornbeck.
Oh, wow. I love it. Love it. Yeah. This is so cool to hear. So wow. when you started getting all those phone calls, what kind of effect from that point forward did they notice in their, just in the world in general, or in their teachings or in their ceremonies? Was it easier to do it? Was it, because I can imagine if you don't have these forces that are clogging up the drain, I guess, it would be much faster flow maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it was 1997, 98, the fall. I think that's when it was. And I mean, I just know what a high frequency we were at as a planet and a collective at that point. I think we've really been bombarded with low frequency. We'll just call it that.
Mm-hmm.
The higher we rise, the more we're, anyway.
Under attack.
We're challenged, right?
I don't want to say it.
Yeah, under attack.
The more we need to learn how to hold sacred space.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah, it's good.
There you go.
So, I'm it's an interesting time right now with COVID and with everyone's so compliant, and so apparently I don't know, I'm just praying for the survival of the planet. I don't know what's happening. And
well, I'm thinking if you did it that first time, I mean, heck, why not bring the wizards together
Right.
again and conjure up, like, okay, get out of here.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys are, get out of here.
Well, people keep bringing me to that awareness again and again lately, because I would say after I studied with Grasshopper, I started something on, this is going to date me, on MySpace, and I started what we called the Global Healing Matrix, so all the remote healers could get together and work on collective issues.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, and
there you go.
Something like that needs to be resurrected, I feel.
Yes.
On that level. And the closest thing I have to that right now is I started a blog over since COVID. I started it in April, I think was the first one. And it is interesting because it's I heal with my words.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're reading the blog, you're healing your collective issues of current events.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the healing news.
Really?
And it's an incubator for the new earth and what we're creating and what we're going into.
You know what? I love that you're bringing that up. It's so interesting because I was telling Valentine earlier about how I've been reading the Dolores Cannon books about convoluted universe and how she talks a lot about, through these past life regressions. It's undeniable when you get so many different people that she's bringing through the quantum healing hypnosis technique where they're talking about the new earth. And when COVID struck us, I go, oh boy, you know what? I think we're right here on the precipice of the new earth really revealing itself here. So it's really interesting that you're talking about this, and it just makes so much sense because it's offering us this opportunity of looking at this and go, you know what, this is an illusion. Do I want to believe in this illusion, or do I want to, continue to create the reality that I prefer to see or that's best for me? Are you noticing that there are other other healers, reading your blog and commenting and going, yep, let's start this thing back up again. Let's get, especially with Facebook Live, with Zoom, with all those, abilities, just like we did with the harmonic convergence.
Yes.
All of these people, there must have been 60,000 or more that came in and out of there throughout that 10 days.
Wow.
Who were a part of this. And putting across all these loving, healing intentions. And then on the 14th, the idea was to, the intention was to bring about worldwide UFO sightings. And what's interesting was I read an article that in the month of July, there were 399 UFO reports. And I thought, there we go. It's interesting, quite interesting.
I think the collective has much more power than it believes it does.
Yes. Yes.
And if there was somebody actually, which there really is only one of us, right? So if somebody, the one of us, would take the ship and steer it in a better direction right now, collectively, if our narrative changed on a collective level and started steering into the light, that's basically, we need a new captain at the helm, we'll say it. And I think them are going to be fine. I really feel, have you guys heard about Gregory Howlett, the new King of England?
No.
What's going
on? They're calling him the second coming of Christ because he is in the Christ bloodline of Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth, the Queen Elizabeth I's mother. And I guess he's claiming the throne and becoming the new king of England. And he's saying that we're going through 3 40-day periods. We may have some civil unrest, and then we're going into 1,000 years of peace. I mean, that's what I keep being shown. Is this heaven on earth? Utopia.
Golden
but
age.
It's kind of like we need to create it right now. And close the gap between where we're at and where we want to go, because we need to outsmart and we have to be faster and outsmart that energy that's in control. And just bring something new into the fold that they can't touch, because it's God's work and they can't. It's infallible, or you know what I mean? On
right.
some level.
Right. And, it's interesting when you have some of these forces who own, a majority of these networks with particular agendas. It gives this illusion that so many more people believe in these sort of, let's say, downtrodden ideas than there actually are. And what's interesting is that nobody, there are probably a lot more people who are on the brainwaves that we are here with this idea of bringing about the new earth, bringing the light out there. There are probably a lot more of us who are just kind of silently meditating and not being very vocal out there right now, because they're drowned out by the other stuff, by the other megaphones and whatnot.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's so in a sense brainwashed, programmed, controlled on so many different levels. They don't even understand how controlled they are. And they're controlled not only in their own lives and in their families' lives, but in their friends' lives. They're like policing each other right now. That is insane. I'm like, what happened to diversification and respecting each other's differences and appreciating those different points of opinion? There are like that. I that's what's blowing me away right now, is that if you don't believe what I believe, I'm not going to be friends with you.
Right.
And I'm gonna report you because you don't think like I do.
Right.
It's
it's mind blowing to me right now.
It really is. And what I'd like to think is this conversation here is, we're stirring up, all of these unseen forces that, well, you two can probably most likely see, but we're stirring the pot right here. This conversation is definitely is definitely being beamed out there to who knows how many invisible entities that are like, okay, cool. I'm so happy you guys are talking about this. And, this is so great, you guys. We're ready. We're ready. And so I think it's so fun because I could just feel the celebration. I could just feel the ecstatic, from the unseen. Just listening to our conversation and like you're saying, steering the ship into the light. And it's been said that when you walk into a cave and you light one little tiny match, that lights up the cave. You can see what's going on in there. So it's quite interesting imagine if you got 3 people now doing that, or you got 4 or 5, and it just eventually those other lights start turning on inside people that might be laying in there, dormant, or being waiting to be woken up. And then to use these services like Zoom, to use Facebook Live, to use these things, and to get back to what you had with MySpace, and to have these people see each other and to be in each other's, company, so to speak, through digital visualizations. I think, some really good stuff, could definitmeally brew up. And
beautiful.
I just know I know the influences that Valentine has over there in Maui, and I mean, now that I'm hearing all the connections that you have, Elizabeth, and it's, I mean, just imagine how big of an allegiance of people who believe in these ideas and are just kind of, sometimes they're waiting for someone to, like, there was this video that I saw. It was talking about leadership, and the video it took like less than 3 minutes. It was just a funny dancing guy that was out at what looked like some kind of festival or something, and then one guy goes up there, starts dancing with the guy, and they start dancing together, and then that guy is like, hey, come on over here, and a couple of his friends get over there, and they're dancing crazy, and then 4 or 5, 6 more people, and before you know it, within 3 minutes, you got all these people who are sitting down now contributing to this movement that started with one crazy dancing guy that was
Yeah.
just out there enjoying himself.
Right.
And, you know, it was amazing to see how that could happen. And especially with the technology we got, whoa! I mean, that could even happen even faster. So
it's very interesting you brought that up, because I want to interject a little something there, Kurt and Elizabeth. What you brought out is, I was in Woodstock, the 25th anniversary, which I spoke on the first interview with you, Kurt. What reminds me of what you're stating is, I had the opportunity to be with Peter Gabriel, lit a candle and started to light the candle with everyone. It was at night. A whole sea of candles went from, I mean, they were already saying, we want to bring the world together. We want to unite. I saw so many candles and so many lights. It lit up the darkness into light.
oh my God!
Yeah.
The whole surrounding of Woodstock. It wasn't just the stage. They were out in the fields. They were out. It was like an ocean of love, of light that would beam across the globe. And I was in timeless space with Peter Gabriel singing the song, bringing us together.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
Love brings us together, and let's light our light around the world. Now let's go help our Mother Earth and Father Sky and all the seen and unseen beings right now. Let's have a sea of love right now and light the world. A beacon of light. Yeah, that's what blew me to this day. It just remains with me, that moment of timeless in the sea of love.
Amazing.
And probably about 500,000 people we're talking about, brother. We're not talking, 100,000 people. We're talking a sea, like a whole ocean of people, and there was probably 500,000 people there. Could have been 1 million, but whatever they allowed those candles, it just was in tens and tens and tens of thousands of people, like a sea of love.
I love that. That is incredible, and seeing that as a microcosm for what's possible.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel so happy to know.
Yeah.
Aww. Yeah, it warms my heart, Valentine. Thanks for sharing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So Elizabeth, Valentine shared with me your GoFundMe page, and so what's your current situation in terms of how you're getting your book written and continuing your healing work, because it seems like do you have a place to live right now? Do you have a stable?
Well, I have an offer on the table of a place to live, but I have not been able to achieve I guess you could call it the status of being accepted by a landlord. My healing journey's been interesting. It probably took me 20 years to get diagnosed clearly. And then once I started recovering. And then I thought, oh my God, I was super athletic before I became disabled. So I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be windsurfing. I'm going to be dancing. I was a gymnast. I could do 5 back handsprings in a row and not even touch the ground,
Wow.
I was super athletic.
Yeah.
And overnight, from a pregnancy, which should have been the happiest time in my life, I became disabled. And it took them 20 years to figure it out.
Wow.
And when they finally figured it out and I started recovering, I got hit by a drunk driver. And that situation was devastating. And then my caretaker had been my father. He passed away. And my family abandoned me and took my inheritance. And I've been trying to figure it out, pick up the pieces. And I went to business school 3 times at Maui Economic Opportunity. And I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of workshops on business. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10, and then I've been through a lot of healing in the last 4 to 5 years. And I took a recent Tony Robbins seminar, and he's like, get real with where you're at, problem solve it, take massive action, resolve it, then divorce your old story and create what you do want.
Mm-hmm.
And then say what you do want in your future and what you don't want. And that seems to seal the deal. So I was like, okay, I got real. And when I got real, I realized I needed to alleviate the pressure on my finances so I would be housed, number one. And if I'm housed, then it would solve a lot of problems for me that are currently going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's kind of when you buy all these red cars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since this happened for me, I've met many other disabled people where it happened for them as well.
Yeah.
And then I met Valentine, and I asked him. He said he was an advocate for disabled people for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked him about what percentage of his clients did this happen for, and when he said 100%, it explained everything to me. And that, I feel, is some of the darkness that our society is suffering from that needs to be brought into the light and eliminated, so and problem solved. And we need to divorce this old story and get on with it, because it really is, it's so traumatic to the disabled person that it took me 5 years just to put it into words. I was so shattered by the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think most people can even, I felt like I just held so much shame for my family, my remaining family, and that I couldn't even speak about it. It was like speaking the unspeakable.
Yes.
And Tony Robbins really gave me clarity and really gave me the words and to be able to even verbalize that this is a major chronic problem in the United States right now, and it needs to be addressed and resolved. Yes. So my father was such a good man, and he was so kind and so caring that I have created some legislation in his name, Donald's Law, to protect everyone and to improve the value of disabled people in America and their lives. So I feel very inspired by God. I feel like I'm doing God's work. And it's been a metamorphosis of just getting the words out of my body and saying so I feel blessed on some level, and my crowdfunding is about helping me get through this abuse and to resolve the uninsured drunk driver situation. And then I'm also going to be reaching out to, if you're an organization right now that helps disabled people, or you are a government official that wants to rally I encourage you. We started a Facebook page yesterday or the day before for Donald's Law, stopping the abuse, and to protect disabled persons' civil rights. So, I'm, please call and email the president, your governor, the mayor, the congressmen, the senators, and any organizations that you feel would help. We need 100,000 signatures by August 22nd. And
explain why, Elizabeth, about that.
Well, that's what the need you to do. for them to take you seriously, I guess.
Yeah, and tell them not just for the White House. What is it?
I lost you, Valentine. There.
Okay. Yeah. So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So explain that even outside of the White House may not do something with 100,000. Tell them the people, the advocates that will do something with the 100,000 petition that signed that petition. Tell them the type of people that will step in that are advocates also, which you call, they know you're serious now.
Well, I mean, once we get the 100,000, which is the demand at the White House, I think we could submit depending on the platform's policies.
Yes.
Right. We could probably submit it to change.org and Avaz and all the petition platforms. And get more signatures and bring more awareness. But really, it's a very grassroots movement, so we need lots of volunteers.
Yes.
And lots of help to get this out there, and to I'm going to work on a document of like what the volunteers can do, who to contact, who to talk to, and how they can help. I just feel with everything that's going on with the most vulnerable population, the children, the elderly, and the disabled, we need to protect our family.
Yes.
It's one family here on Earth, and we need to protect ourselves.
Yes.
So this is a big piece to it.
Yes.
And my training is tribal. I train with Don Juan. I think like Native Americans think. We need to get in harmony with the earth. We need to respect our elders.
Yes.
We need to gather in families and in tribes and really start prayer and shifting where we're at, because I think it's just Babylon's falling, this is the end of times, whatever you want to say. That's what's going on, and as the old system falls away, we are creating what we want, and this is unacceptable behavior to have as a society. What's happening here to all disabled people, it's bad enough to have a body that can't work and can't function, and then your only person that you've relied on then passes away, and then you're subject to extreme hostile psychological warfare by your remaining family. It's broken the core of the family.
Yes.
In the United States.
Yes.
And that is unacceptable.
Yes.
That is,
Yes.
And I'm fighting not just for disabled people, but for the health of America, the health of families. It has to be stopped. Yeah. And so this legislation it calls for 4 mandatory points that will help ensure the safety of this population and protect its civil rights and liberties and stop the abuse.
Well, what's interesting, two things that just popped in my brain that might help get some, with some kindling and could turn into bonfires here, is first of all, the app that you're talking to me right now, Anchor. I've always wanted to make a podcast, but I didn't know what it would have taken to make one. And then once my buddy told me about this app and how easy it was, because it's just right there on your phone, then I just started making a podcast. It just right through my phone. So I'm thinking, one thing is, now that you have this app, it might be good to even just make a podcast about these particular things, because it gets distributed out to Spotify, gets distributed to iTunes, all of the podcasts, podcast apps, and so you never know who's going to be listening to that, which is great. And you could always put links to that on your blog. Now, the other thing I was thinking about, and I know a lot of folks primarily think about this as just an app for the kids, but the app TikTok, there's a lot of great education on there about all kinds of things, drawing, science, disabilities, and you'd be surprised by how quickly you can actually gather people watching what's going on there. There was a girl who she started a TikTok about her sister who went missing, and so she started posting these videos, and because she suspected that her father had done it. She kept posting these videos, and it started getting all this attention. And before she knew it, she was interviewed on the news and all these different places. And so that might be something to think about. You're allowed to put up to like a minute. You could do 15 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute. So even that might be something that's good, that would then draw attention and would get shared around and help build interest in it. So those are two little resources that just immediately come to me to help raise awareness and get people. For instance, there was a guy in there whose dad was basically had become a quadriplegic through the years. I don't know what happened to him, but his dad used to be like a basketball coach and all this stuff. And so his whole TikTok was him taking his dad out of bed in the morning, bringing him all the way down the stairs, putting him in his chair, and hanging out, and wanted to make sure that his dad could hang out at whatever they were doing, and not just leaving him in bed. And so he was sharing his story with the TikTok viewers, and he had lots of people watching that. So I'm thinking with you, Elizabeth, these might be a couple of options to think about, and to get a lot of eyes on this in the short amount of time that we have here. Did you say the petition has to have how many signatures by, what was it, August 22nd?
100,000, and it's at the White House. It's called Donald's Law, Protect Disabled Individuals.
Yeah.
But it's also linked to the crowdfunding. I don't know how podcasts work, if you can say links or but
We'll look into it, research it.
Yeah. And then my business too is powerenergeticsmaui.com at the website. And
talk about that.
If they email me there, I can actually send them the crowdfunding.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And Elizabeth, talk about the the type of healing, because Kurt and I were talking about when we were putting together the video for this campaign for you, that you started doing this. My back was hurting because I didn't have any kind of backing to sit on the picnic table there on the ocean. And tell them the type of healing that I didn't expect it, but what I was experiencing when you go in and you do energetically about the past life and why I was having a bad back.
Well, I'm channeling that stuff, so I don't really retain it.
I know.
But I use kinesiology to scan your quantum field of weaknesses around your health issues, whether it's back pain or a sore throat or fatigue or your sleep or fears, phobias, anxiety, stress, depression, any kind of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychic
there you go.
weaknesses in your energetic body that would once they're strengthened, your body's able to heal on the spot, and it's very quick and it's super fun. Like, you pretty much laugh the whole entire session, and at the end you feel so much better, so much lighter, your frequency's higher, and then you integrate for 2 to 4 days, and your reality's different from it. And it only has good positive side effects, unlike going to the doctor. Negative side effects.
Right.
So, for example, I remember grasshopper shifting. I'm like, I don't have pain anymore, but physically I don't have strength yet. I want to be physically fit. Can you just shift me for that? So when he did that work, what was interesting was I did not get physically fit, but what happened was I regained my eyesight for decades. Wow. From that one session. That was a side effect, even though that's not what he was working on. So
whoa.
Jeez.
In the realm of energy medicine, it's never miracle. What you think it is. Like, Valentine, like, he would have never thought it was a past life in his back. No. Why would that cause back pain, right? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
But when you have a weakness, in each lifetime, it's like a target for energy. and it keeps poking you there, the universe, until you get the lesson, whatever that lesson is. So in Power Energetics, you clear all the weaknesses. The person's able to heal themselves on the spot, and then you download them with all the life lessons from the Most High God around their issues and problems, etc., so that they're able to integrate that and just move ahead with their life. It's very fast healing. My clients named it Warp Speed Evolution. So it's really profound, and it's super fun, and you never have fun healing. And this is, you just giggle the whole entire time, and you feel so much better, and you get super amazing results. So I could teach a 2-year-old how to do it, and I have a certification program coming, and some digital courses coming, and the book, and I'm moving ahead with the business as well. Once I get rehoused, I'll be able to really ground and move forward quickly. But I've got the infrastructure and the plans all there, just having the patience to get through this piece and move ahead. And I'm super excited where everything's going. Oh my God. And I'm super excited to help improve and be of service to America on that core level of bringing that darkness into the light. I mean, that's, we'll go back to Don Juan. I've got a foot in both worlds, and I'm telling you, this is not acceptable. We've got to change it, and we've got to change it at the core. So that's our infrastructure, how we're gonna move forward with how we treat our elderly and disabled.
Yeah.
Wow. So the people that you've healed, I'm just thinking it might be cool if, and you probably are way ahead of me on this, or have already done it, but have you gotten, I'm thinking some video testimonials from some of these people that you have healed in the past that can be put up on an Instagram or up on your blog, to show people, oh my gosh, it's great.
I have a YouTube channel, Power Energetics Maui, and there are demos, there's testimonials.
Awesome.
I have a YouTube TV show called Abundance TV, and I do it on Zoom, and I clear people's abundance issues. So all you have to do is watch these shows, and you experience a healing, and we call it the quantum effect. So let's say you're watching somebody's back pain get cleared, and your back feels better, and you didn't even get the healing directed at you, but you already feel better. So that's how it works, and it's pretty profound. So Abundance TV, you just have to watch it, and you get your abundance issues cleared when you have the same.
Love it.
When you have the same ones as the person being cleared. So it's super interesting. I think there's 11 episodes. I need to film a new season of it. And you can binge watch the 11 episodes, and you pretty much clear all your abundance issues.
Oh, that's cool.
For sure.
That's cool.
So fun.
So creative. I'm thinking with this, okay, so let's manifest into reality, though, the forces that can unlock the doors that enable you to get the housing that you need and getting into, that ideal situation. And, anyone who's listening to this can put those ideas forth and putting good vibes for you. And, I'm imagining, stirring up a vortex that enables this reality to exist, right?
Yeah.
Amen.
Hey, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Right on there, Kurt. Yeah.
Because gosh, you are so spiritually powerful in all the tools and methods that and in addition to all the people that who know about this stuff. And if someone can, for instance, if the Cubs can win the World Series, which, for eons, people are like, no way. And all of a sudden, wow.
For 100 years.
They defied the mainstream narrative.
Absolutely. Like a total Twilight Zone. It's like, hey guys, guess what? It is possible,
Yeah.
And
right.
So I think if the Cubs can win the World Series, we can whip up the proper housing and the exact situation that you need to be in sooner than we can, that we'd be surprised by. I think. I mean, heck, you had your friend walk into a doorway and get rid of your she saw the demon in your shoulder and the tumors and all that jazz. I mean, holy cow! Anyone listening to that would go, that is ridiculous. But yet here it is. It's a real life thing that happened. So it could be equally as ridiculous for anyone to think, oh, there's no way that she could manifest abundance that fast and get in the proper housing. Well, yeah, absolutely. If that reality already exists, and I'm just telling you stuff you already know, obviously. I'm just, I'm the young grasshopper in this instance, trying to learn from you two. So I'm thinking, we just whip it into shape. We just put the ingredients in there, bake up that cake of abundance for you, and get you on your way.
Well, I'm feeling it. I mean, the more that I'm working on it, what's funny is, the more I work on the campaign to resolve my finances, the busier I'm getting at work. So
boy, beautiful.
It's like I'm distracting myself from work, so that's letting money in.
Oh my gosh.
I'm super grateful for that, like beyond comprehension. And since the Tony Robbins seminar, he was like, fall in love with your ideal client. Don't fall in love with your business. Fall in love with your client.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was super deep, and it was like, well, and then, just how you manifest a mate, where you say everything you want about your future coming mate. He had us do the same thing with our future coming clients, and say everything you want and then everything you don't want. And I am just getting the best clients coming through. I'm so grateful. I just adore them. Like, I can see it's working.
I love it. And what a brilliant thing, because it's like, rather than putting the focus on just simply business, because then that could come, what goes along with that is a bunch of irritable customers, and clients. But when you think about that idea of, these are the kind of clients I would really like to be talking to. These are the people that I would look forward to having a conversation with on the phone or seeing in a Zoom call or what have you. What a great way of putting it. That is a great way of putting it, and I'm happy to hear that it's working for you as well as it is.
Well, yeah, and I think just being distracted from trying to make my business work and get my business off the ground. It's like, I was doing so well when I launched it a couple years ago. For a year and a half, I thought, it was going to be fine. I was like, no big deal. This is great. It's working. And then I started getting censored.
What? What do you mean? How did you get censored? What the heck was going on?
Well, it wasn't just me per se, but it was all alternative medicine. I think, and I know you guys will be like, oh, this is conspiracy theory, but intuitively, my feeling is, because of my experience and how everything's rolling out, I feel like they all knew about the pandemic back August. Because the three main platforms, bought big pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which makes vaccines, right?
Yeah.
And then they created in August of 2019 an algorithm that completely looped alternative medicine out of search results.
Oh my gosh.
And now there's a big class action lawsuit against them, but I did not jump on board on that because I just don't want to deal with any more stuff like that. But I rebranded to energy medicine, and then I got hacked 5 times, and then I locked down my website, and then Google deleted my account, and then I fixed my SEO and got me back up there, and then COVID hit, and it's been one thing after the other. So I've been scrambling all year to just upgrade my business and streamline it and fine-tune it, and the whole time I've just been censored. I make posts and they disappear, and it's just super weird. It's super weird. I feel like I'm living in an alternate reality that's not really real, and
wow,
my business is there and I'm not. And I want to pull my business out of there and put it back into the real deal.
Exactly.
Whoa.
That's been tough. And then the whole drunk driver piece, I just can't.
Yeah.
The restitution hearings been put off and put off and put off because of COVID. And even when I get that money, it's not going to be enough to cover the debt. So I'm trying to get rid of the debt. I'm trying to get in housed. I have a car I want to sell, and I can't even get the title because I don't have an address with the house and a driver's license with the address in the house that they can send it to. So it's a couple pieces that just need to fall into place, and then I'm pretty good to go. I feel like I'll be solid. So Tony Robbins helped me get real with where I was at and realize that, you know, I had to problem solve it. And this was the best thing that I came up with to quickly resolve everything so that I can get over the hump and really start producing, because I really want to publish the book. I want to, you know, really step up the game. And I feel very motivated that the brand of healing I'm bringing to the world will be one of the new models to how we take care of our health and ourselves. So I feel very blessed on that level and very divinely guided, you know, into my destiny. But this piece of God, I feel like I'm supposed to be protecting people, my population of disabled people.
Yeah.
That this is part of my destiny, and then it's part of how I'm really gonna gain who my tribe is, you know, online, and be able to really serve people's health worldwide and really make a difference in their life. I know Power Energetics can do it. I know all about it. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm super excited. Like, who has fun healing? Who has fun healing?
Right.
Nobody. Just imagine you just laugh the whole entire time. If you went to the doctor and just laughed the whole hour and listened to whatever, and then you laughed and you're like, oh, I don't need any medicine. I don't need surgery. I don't need, you know?
Well, you know, it's interesting. That kind of reminds me of Patch Adams. I was just looking him up again. Every once in a while, I look up the Gesundheit Institute, because I read that book by him after I saw the movie eons ago. And, you know, just I love that idea that he was trying to, you know, get people to lighten up. And he had this whole idea to make the Gesundheit Institute, which is this hospital to help people out. You know, I frequently thought, man, I'd love to go out there and visit that guy and see what the heck he's up to. And I can only imagine just how much even more he would benefit with knowing the knowledge that you know and you know, being implemented there. I mean, that'd be pretty cool if he had, you know, doctors there who practiced these kinds of ways of healing. And you know, these kinds of things, like with this podcast and what you're doing on your YouTube channel and your blog, these are all just wonderful beacons to those who it just magnetizes into those who resonate with the same material. And you know, and then people just start popping up out of the woodwork that you wouldn't expect, because then now they feel this kinship with you, and which I just think is just phenomenal. Imagine when you get this tribe of all these energy workers who you're teaching the quantum healing to, and they're all just out there going, all right, let's go into the hospital today, let's go into the VA today, and let's just heal all these veterans and get, you know, kind of help them out. Can you, like, for instance, can you get rid of people's PTSD? Can you you have those?
Well, I mean, yeah, I can get rid of stress on the spot. PTSD is pretty complex. I feel like it needs some therapy and some. I'm a fan of EMDR. I have pretty severe PTSD of just my health and my situation. So I've been into trauma therapy for 12 years.
Wow.
I think everybody can benefit from that.
Yeah.
Trauma therapy, trauma bonding, finding out all about that, because really in the world that we live in, that is our reality, that all of us have been traumatized, and this whole COVID thing is like traumatizing in and of itself. So I feel like everybody's got PTSD on some level right now. And yeah, we all need healing. I think the biggest thing about Power Energetics being on Maui is I was divinely guided here and called here in 2003. It took me till 2016 to live here full time. But when I did, I realized that part of the reason why I was called here by God was because it's the heart chakra.
Yes.
And then right next to Maui is Ko'olave, which
Yes.
is another island. And that is the sacred heart chakra.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm here to help heal that. It was bombed by the United States.
Yeah.
The water table was broken and nothing grew on it. They like destroyed our sacred heart of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel called here by God to help heal that.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's like I'm an acupuncture point for Maui to really heal on that deep level and to activate their sacred hearts. I think my 100th monkey tipping point is 300 practitioners on Maui. If I were able to teach 300 people to do it here specifically, that it would create a matrix. It's like when I'm working on me, just like when you watch it after I film it and you have that same issue, you heal because it's beyond time and space. The medicine is beyond time and space. It's quantum, and I'm working in the quantum field, the quantum realm. It's not 4D, 5D. It's beyond time. It's beyond space. So it is. If 300 people were practicing it here every day, and all they did was shift themselves to be, I'm not sure what that sound is.
Yeah, that's
Is there a
just
motorcycle going on out there?
That's okay. Yeah, the maintenance guy in Hawaii has headphones on, trying to tell him, and he's just flowing through. So it'll be gone in a minute. It'll be gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gone. It's gone now.
Okay.
So anyway, if we had 300 people practicing power energetics and all they did was shift themselves in the morning to live their best life, it would shift the whole entire island, and it would send that energy out into the world from the heart.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like I'm here, and I really need to get grounded and to be able to like give back on that level. And but it's all coming together. I'm super grateful. It's all coming together. And
Yeah.
by a miracle, believe me.
Wow, this is just incredible. I love it. This is
Yeah.
great. I've been having some of the most extraordinary conversations ever since the harmonic convergence. I wrote down about 10 or 11 names of people who had spoken about things that resonated with me, and Valentine, of course, is one of these folks. And every conversation I've been having, whether it's someone who has frequent UFO sightings or someone who went to the Monroe Institute to learn about, astral projection, or people who learn about reality transurfing, and now here you are telling me about your quantum healing. I mean, this is just it's so fascinating. And then, of course, hearing Valentine's stories with healing people, and I mean, it's I feel so grateful that we're all coexisting these moments together to be able to share this information with people out there who wouldn't normally get this kind of programming on their morning news. For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you found your soul family, right? And you kind of found one of your homes in that harmonic convergence.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And and it was so great because it's so funny because one of the big words that I frequently used a lot with people is like, look, I'm here for harmony. I want to make harmony here. Wherever I'm going, I just want to have, harmony. And so everybody's an instrument in the orchestra here. So we all got space for each other here, and we can make beautiful music together through our agreements and collaborations. And so it was interesting when that harmonic convergence came about, and I learned it had been planned since 2015, and little could they ever realize that COVID would come around, but it was perfect because then it made it a virtual experience where anybody out in the world could see it. They didn't have to go to a specific spot.
Yeah.
And is Brad Nye involved in that?
Oh geez. I'm not certain. There were so many speakers on it. I know Mark Sims is the guy who's sort of the ringleader of how drumming it all up into existence. But it's possible. What'd you say? What was his name? Bob Nye?
Brad.
Oh, Brad Nye.
NYE is his last name.
Brad Nye.
Yeah, I think he had something to do with it back in the day. I remember him promoting it.
Oh,
but
it's interesting, yeah, because the original one was back in like 1985 or something. So this was like this.
I was thinking more like 2008, 2009,
Oh,
10.
gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about it since about then.
Wow.
I'm glad you guys got so much out of it. I'll have to try it out.
Well, what's so fun is that they so it was for 10 days, and they ended up all the videos are found on this Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com and then it's called Unify. Unify is the name of the page, and on that Facebook page, all the videos. It was really cool. They were able to save the live streams on there, so anybody can go back on there and check them out. So you got these.
Oh, sweet.
Beautiful. All these there are Amazon rainforest shaman talking. There are Lakota elders talking. So cool. And then you see them all talking about similar circumstances and similar things, but from their different studied, from their different studies, their different perspectives. You're just like, wow, this is incredible. This is really incredible that this all came about, and it makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense. So it was really cool because you would have these Zoom after parties, and that's where Valentine just popped up in there, and he's like, I don't know how I got here. I just called in, and I'm like, okay, I'm writing down this guy's email address. I gotta interview him for sure. That's great, because now he's leading me to these other extraordinary minds that are out there in the world. These other great spirits.
And Kurt, do you have a website? Is it InspiradoProjecto.com?
Well, just my Anchor is, so it's only on Anchor basically. I have a Facebook page. I do have a Facebook page, and it's called Inspirado Projecto Radio. But my Anchor account is anchor.fm/Inspirado Projecto. And it used to be a radio show. I used to have my own radio show in Chinatown, Los Angeles. And it was great.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun. And it was like a pirate radio. And I got to meet all these interesting people that I meet on the subway, people that I just meet out there in the wild. And I'd invite them to come in and talk about their stuff, and it just felt so good to give these people a platform to, whether they're musicians or comedians or authors. It was just really cool to be able to kind of project the things out there in the world that inspired them the most, and it just felt really good. And then it just kind of evolved into a podcast, and so. Which was great, because then I could just interview people on the street. I could just interview my Uber drivers. It was so cool.
Wow, that is interesting. And so, how long have you had the podcast?
Oh boy, I think.
Or the radio show.
Well, so the radio show started in 2015, and then my podcast I think started in 2017. So
nice.
Yeah, so I had to stop the radio show because of COVID, but then my podcast, got more attention. So that was really cool. And since I don't need a special studio or particular, fancy microphones, and I could just talk into my phone, it was just like, wow, this is perfect. I basically started using it as my audio diary or like a journal. Instead of writing stuff down, I just go, ooh, here's an idea, and then I just immediately put it onto my podcast. And
oh wow!
And then every once in a while, I have interviews with people, because the main motivation was I wanted to give my future self some great memories to listen to and to remember what he did in his life and the extraordinary people he talked to. So these are all gifts to my future self. That stuff to so you could go, oh wow, that guy really, he took the risk, and now I'm not living without a regret. I'd rather face embarrassment in the moment than live with a regret. And so once I started living like that, I started seeing extraordinary things happening in my life, and it was just it's just so fascinating. I get to document my synchronicities on it, and Oh man, it's just so fun. It's so great, and then it enables me to, it opens up doors, and enables me to be able to talk to folks like you who are highly tuned into this stuff, and just love it. It just feels so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wow.
What it does, it interconnects you into fulfillment, as we were speaking about that, Kurt. And I'm sure for Elizabeth, unless you have your inner spark, inner peace, and going, okay, I got it. That seems right. I know it's right, and that's what I'm here to do. As I spoke, whatever I did in the world, from broadcasting to television to as a pitcher, New York, in the sports world, it didn't do it till the healing was always with me, and teachers and healers would come to me and say, just keep writing. And I'm going, well, keep writing? He goes, yeah, the gift will keep coming if you just keep writing. Well, I journaled for 30 years. I mean, how much more do you want me to write? They keep me up at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and channeling all this information. And it was accurate for these diagnoses of people with illnesses to the core.
Wow.
Let me just give you the information. I wrote for 30 years. Let me retain it. I go in the light body to see it and come back and go help the people that they're called upon to move through their healing process. If you would help me with that, and then bring a team of people in to support that, and that's what I think we're missing. We're healers need to support one another around the planet. When I was in Denmark, they were all Denmark and Sweden. They were like the Long Rangers. Well, they would come out for this huge event and then they would go hide. I go, listen, I found you out now, and you got the wisdom and knowledge. And so now no, Valentine, there's an airport here. I need to stay here because you came in, and I can't move right now. So I rather just, I said, listen, you already got found out, so you're being called to help out now.
That's great.
You know what I mean?
That's great.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to unite our beautiful divinity, the divine self, to align with this gift. Our hands, our feet, are the way we speak, to be there for our families, our communities, and humanity, to really grace upon that gift that we have, to bring that barter, trade, smile, cook, give food to people, give out what you can to help your fellow man and humanity that are downtrodden. Help the less unfortunate. Be there for the disabled, be there for the elderly. And that's what I saw what the elderly went through, and I saw what the disability went through. Like what Elizabeth said, I myself got called with the director of the movie, wanted to do a movie on my life about what experience where I lost everything was left to me in front of my family while I was in Hawaii. I had the same thing happen, because they said, well, if he gets a hold of the money, he'll give it away. Well, I was entrusted with it. It was all left to me to make a decision on your lives. Now the karma, all of it. It was everything was left to me to make the decision on them, and they freaked out. And that's what Elizabeth said. And then you see all these skeletons in the closets come out when they're very well off, meaning the one particular person is very well off in my family and still got involved because of greed and didn't need it. And these are less than fortunate people that I wanted to help. First, of course, I would pray about it and ask, okay, what do I do? But they wouldn't, they got so freaked out and covered everything up, just like Elizabeth got, and would not give the proper inheritance and the money to you, and left with nothing. Like, she was abandoned. I was abandoned. I was left on the street, and I had to walk by faith, and go over and over. Like she said, it took her 5 years. I would go over and over that story till I had to release it and heal it and go, I don't want to be part of this any longer. And one of the about 13 to 15 clairvoyants stated that this took place in my family, and there was a bigger picture, and I was left with the divine spark of love to heal this situation. And I did my work in the family, then you have to step away from it and then let go and let God, let go and let the universe provide and show you the way. If they're not ready, they will have to answer for it karmically. But you don't want to see this with your own family members that are, there's a betrayal beyond. It's like being on the cross and going, okay, well now you got all stab wounds and you have to heal that. You know what I mean?
Gosh, man. So so despite these things, you've been able to still, help a lot of people out, heal a lot of people, help out the disabled and the elderly with getting those buses out there.
Yep.
And thanks to your initiative.
The transportation, with the taxi service, instead of them being on the buses, I was brought in with the state, which Elizabeth's not aware of, but it's been 15 years now that they made the decision to help them, the disabled and the elderly, to get transportation to and from the doctors, not on a bus any longer, but they can go on through their insurance and go for an hour and a half and not be there all day long, where the doctors are babysitting them, which Dr. Thomas Rogers told me, that the neurosurgeon, he's an 8th in the nation that I spoke of yesterday. He said, my secretaries are babysitting them, and we need help. And we found out that he's shaking my hand that you spoke up and got transportation for these incredible secretaries to have to babysit them now.
Incredible. Now this is starting to make me think now with what you've been able to do for those taxis for the disabled and elderly. Yes. You must have some connections where these people will be able to help out Elizabeth in some way. I'm just thinking with the way that you're able to open doors and all the relationships that you got out there, and the way that people play your stuff on the Hawaii TV. Yep. I mean, heck, would they, for instance, play? Would they open to playing this video that's up here on Elizabeth's GoFundMe page? Would they be open to finding ways to help her out, or to get signatures? I mean, holy cow! If you're going to these hospitals, right? Wow, just imagine all those signatures for the petitions that could be rattled about. Yeah, and people would be happy, very happy to sign that, because they're in that position themselves, and that could be something. It just struck me now. That this could be a very, very helpful thing. And heck, I mean, and then maybe there are things that I don't know. I'm thinking maybe of some sort of system here where maybe Elizabeth, you'd be able to do some quantum healing on some of these folks if they're signing the petitions, or if they're putting the word out there, or I'm just kind of brainstorming here, but ways in which everybody realizes there's this beautiful, mutually beneficial situation happening, and everybody wins. Everybody's growing the same garden.
There you go.
Oh boy, did Elizabeth get kicked off? Oh no.
No, hope not. Did she?
Oh no, I just noticed she got kicked off.
How'd she get kicked off?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe she got, holy cow. I was wondering why she wasn't saying stuff.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Well, it's interesting because I almost got kicked off while you two were talking, and it said the same thing. It goes, well, thanks for the recording, and it went back on, and I go, oh boy, I got to tell those guys that I'm going off air.
Oh my gosh.
It was happening to me. It was happening to me.
Oh no.
Yeah, and somehow I got back in. I kept quiet during the conversation, because I go, oh, come on, show me. It says, thanks for recording now. And somehow I pressed a certain button to get me back in, and I don't know how I did it, but I did. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's okay.
I'm now sending her another invite because we
Yeah.
only have. Well, this only goes 2 hours.
Yeah, about six,
only 1 hour.
6 minutes or so, right?
Yes. So,
You-
gosh, I'm just thinking, if there's a way for you to be able to get the word out there to all these people, get
Yes.
the petition signed,
Yes.
get, help out Elizabeth, and maybe there's something that she could do for them as well, where, she can go in there and heal some of these people.
Yep.
Of
Oh
their
yeah,
ailments.
no, absolutely. We talked about this, about what you stated. I think Elizabeth's calling us. I think. Hey, listen, I'm going to hear Elizabeth on the air now.
Oh yeah. Put her on the
Hey,
speakerphone.
Elizabeth,
This is good.
He's gonna send you an invitation or keep you on the phone here while we're on if he can't get you on. Are you there?
So do you have a speakerphone?
Yeah. I
Oh, good.
off, and then I couldn't get back on through that link. So
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we just talk from here, or should you send a link as we're?
We could just talk through here. We only have like 5 minutes
5
here
minutes.
before it
Yeah.
comes up on it.
Yeah.
But
Go-
what are some parting things that you'd like to, what are some things, if you can let the audience know, Elizabeth, specific things that people can go to either, become your clients, go to your GoFundMe, your YouTube channel, any of those things?
Well, the YouTube channel has the GoFundMe video, which is Valentine was in, and about 5 of my other friends were in.
Yeah.
It's called Be a Superhero, Stand in Solidarity, which is the slogan for the less fortunate and protect disabled people.
Yeah.
So, you can find the crowdfunding. You can email me on my website or message or call me, and I will send you the link to the crowdfunding.
There you go.
That's powerenergeticsmaui.com. Power Energetics with an S, Maui, MAUI.com. And or you can just Google Power Energetics, and it's the first thing that comes up. So you can find me.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah. And if you're interested in helping with the law or volunteering to help with the campaign, you can give me a call and from the website, and I'd be happy to talk to you about what we can do to get and serve humanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, normally when COVID's not happening, I'm hosting retreats. I have a certification program coming up. I also am a detox and cleanse coach that uses kinesiology and energy medicine. So it's, I help muscle tests. Let's say if 10 was the best cleanse you could possibly do, or you're doing and taking supplements and doing cleanses that are at a level 10. I also help you get, detox through the detox symptoms that can be very flu-like and uncomfortable. And I have 25 years of experience in cleansing at least 4+ times a year, and I've done every kind of cleanse imaginable over the last 25 years, so I'm a wealth of knowledge and inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And the blog is amazing. Please read the blog, watch some of the videos. It's really next level healing, next level health and well-being. I'm excited to be chosen to do it and really help others activate their sacred heart and not have to be hurt to do so. Really, my calling is to heal and awaken.
Beautiful.
Wow. I love it, and I'll definitely put these links into the description. And we basically have 1 minute left here.
Yes.
Thank you so much, you two, for being on and telling your stories and just infusing this podcast with such high vibrating positivity. It's just great. So thank you so much for that.
Wonderful, Kurt.
And I'd
Yeah.
love to get your contact info, and I'll send you the links and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't
Okay.
know if we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use podcasts, or you just put them out in a raw form?
Oh, I just put them out in their raw form.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I'll send you an email. I'll send you an email with the link.
Beautiful. Beautiful,
Perfect.
Kurt.
That sounds perfect.
Wonderful.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very grateful to
Mm-hmm.
get the word out and to meet with you and speak with you. I'm really, I listened to your first interview with Valentine, and it was so sweet. I just feel all the energy from your heart and the love and light that you're bringing to the world. And you are a beacon of inspiration for humanity right now, and I just want to acknowledge that and show my gratitude and praise you. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. All right, you two. I'll talk.
Hi, this is Jay Ossing from Twin Peaks The Return. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.